I was going to ask you if anything notable happened at practice, but it seems like something did. And I have to add, I didn't watch the video. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch the video.
Oh, thank you. You could at least toss me a view.
Didn't read the article. Well, the way Twitter is, they get the view sitting there reading your tweet anyway.
I can't wait.
Well, no, I defend you in the training camp stuff, and then you make it so hard sometimes. Okay, the Eagles' offense needed a win. Jalen Hurts made sure it happened. Here is a breakdown of 2 plays on Monday that should have the Eagles confident they will once again get special QB play from Hurts in 2025.
Correct.
So, this seems like you are doing your best to make sure that you are going to be pro on him, even if his practices, by and large, are not that good.
No, it's not that. I can see why you would think that, but it really is.
What are those
when
2
you're
plays?
Okay, so I know it reads like just 2 plays, but it really isn't when you're there. So today was an ultra competitive practice, and what Nick does is he sets it up where he'll put in situational football, and if the defense gets a stop, they get a point. If the offense converts in that situation, they get a point. And so what happens is you have both sidelines keeping score. Like the trash talking is happening, so it's intense, right? So today they had a series of plays where the offense got the ball at the 4-yard line. So when Jalen dropped back, he was essentially in his end zone. So it was 3-3 after first team, second team, and third team. So it was close. The offense had won some. The defense had won some. And then Nick was like, all right, it's a tie. We're going to do a 7th. And so go out there and we'll decide who wins. Everyone's super into it. The music is playing. The defense is dancing around. The offense, Saquon's talking. So it was a big play. And Jalen dropped back. There was pressure. He found Devontae Smith for the first down. The offense wins the day. So to me, it's one play, but the positive there is last year we saw he was really good in third down last year. He was good in situational football last year for the most part. I would say for the vast majority, but there were definitely times he wasn't. But what it showed is ultimately Jalen's superpower to me is the guy just does things in situational football to win games. So when I say it was a play today that had them where they should feel confident, it's that play. And then there's another play to start practice. They're at the 2-yard line, so Jalen's once again in the back of his end zone, and he converts a first down there for a pass. So when the spotlight's on in practice, Jalen does well.
When the spotlight's on in practice?
Yes.
Okay.
But again, I'm not saying this about a quarterback that is 500 for his career and has never won a playoff game. Like you saw last year, he steps up when it matters. So
okay,
he did. No. Last year, he definitely stepped up when they needed him.
Okay.
He did. What game did they lose because of him last year?
No, but they only lost 3 games last year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think what Jalen does well is even when he's not having a great game, he makes big plays in big moments.
Okay.
Right. So that's why when I watch him practice today and it's intense, the music's playing, everyone's into it, and he makes a big play, that reminds me of last year, and I think should have them confident, despite the fact he's not had a few good days of practice, that he's making big plays in the right situations.
Okay. My counter to that.
Excited to hear it.
You said in the red zone, previous to today, he has not been
Agreed.
Very good. Aren't those red zone plays big plays in practice?
They are.
So
and he was not good in those.
So he failed in those.
Correct. I'm not saying he's 100% for the situation.
So the only ones that count, again, are the times that he comes through in the big plays, because the times that he didn't don't seem to count as much.
They do count. That's why I gave him a D+ one day, and I gave him a C- the other day.
But you're saying that these 2 plays guarantee that he's going to have
Correct.
a special
I think watching him today, in today's practice...
Do you understand the...
Well, but had we talked yesterday or the day after the other practice, I would have said he's not being good in situational, he has to be better. I would say those things. But we're talking about today's practice.
Okay.
And so when I see him do things in practice today that are good in situational football, to me, the Eagles probably left the field today feeling better about the offense than they have the past few days.
So what if in the next practice they do the exact same drill and he throws an interception?
That would be disappointing, and I'd give him a poor grade.
So does that mean you are not confident that he's going to once again be a special again this year?
No, it'll take a lot for me not to feel confident in Jalen because he just won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So when he's...
It just seems like...
I get what you're saying, that all drills are created equal, and if he's good in some and not in the other, they should all count the same, and I agree with that. But when he's had a few bad days and then he has a really good day, to me, that's the takeaway is a reminder of why they should have confidence.
So you got a little down on him, you got a little concerned, and then he bounced back and had a good day, and that restores the faith.
Didn't like the responses to the D+ tweet.
I don't read my responses.
Okay,
So
all
I'm
right.
not
Actually,
yeah.
by you.
Yeah,
Smart.
you've gotten much better about
Yeah,
that. Kevin Petullo was actually on the WIP morning show today. Here's what he had to say about Jalen.
Everybody talks about, where he's at in his list and stuff, is the guy just wins. Like, he's done it different ways. And I think when you kind of sort of, I wouldn't say count him out, or something said, will he do it? He does it. Right? And so I think you just can't underestimate him and his ability to make a play when he needs it, right? I mean, He made critical plays in the Super Bowl. We had to throw the ball a little more, right? Because we ran it okay. And, they were a good run defense. They're a really good defense in Kansas City. And he made plays when we needed him in the pass game and scrambling and doing his thing. And that's, I think, the difference, with him is he can just make plays, ordinary plays, and then just tremendous plays in different ways.
Can I tell you, I agree with that, and I agree with what you said and his ability to do that. I think where our difference comes in is I don't think that, to me, that does not elevate him in a ranking standpoint as much as you think it does. And here's I was trying to find a thing in sports that I feel to compare it to. It's difficult. And the only thing in sports I can compare it to that a player that has as much responsibility as a quarterback does in football is the primary player on a NBA team.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was thinking, we all agree Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is a different player than he is in the regular season. He has twice
Playoff Jimmy.
He has taken a team that is not very talented at all, or not the same talent as the teams he's beaten, to the finals.
Yep.
That he does that in the finals. Now, he didn't win the finals. However, I would say that what he did is as impressive to me as many players who have won the finals. However, at no point during any of Jimmy Butler's career have we ever had to have a conversation about Jimmy Butler being as good as Kevin Durant, or Jimmy Butler being as good as LeBron, or Jimmy Butler being a top 5 player. Everybody seems to be able to compartmentalize. And by the way, everybody agrees that Jimmy Butler's good at this. Everybody would say, hey.
I don't know if he's ever even been a top 10 player.
No, he's been edge.
On the
So,
fringe, so
edge,
top 10 to
top
15.
10 player.
Yeah, top 10, 15.
And here we are. We're all able to compartmentalize and say that, yes, during the playoffs, he is a different animal. During the regular season, he actually disappears for weeks at a time. He won't shoot threes.
Oh, yeah.
He's this, that, and the other. And by the way, that has held back his team from being able to win more games in the regular season because he is. So that is the one. And at no point, I'm sure there's person here and person there that says, Jimmy should be top 4, top 5. But generally, everybody sort of accepts that Jimmy is this in the playoffs, but overall, Jimmy is at the best, 8th best player. He's not anymore, but at his top, he was 8th or 9th best player in the NBA. Now he's probably like 18th. And even to this point, people would still probably say, in the playoffs, I don't want to face Jimmy Butler, but I don't. Do you think he's one of the 5 best players in the NBA? Most people are like, no, of course not. So that is the best comparison I could find.
So I think it's a really good comparison. I do think Jalen, the reason we talk about him so much is because he's so unique. Like, it's not just a Philadelphia market thing. They talk about Jalen nationally all the time because it is very unique. A couple differences I would say is, one, we're saying Jalen's a top 5 quarterback. Jimmy, and I know it's different
You
to the
say
NBA.
second best.
Correct. I agree, second best. But I'm saying Jimmy's compared to every player in the league. Like, I wouldn't say Jalen is a top 5 player. That would be maybe one difference.
Well,
now again, I would make the argument because of the position.
Because he's a quarterback.
Correct, yeah.
So you would.
I think it's a good comparison.
Hold on, but to your point, though, there are some receivers or running backs that are better than quarterbacks.
Right.
Yes.
So
It's not a more
I think
important
that,
position.
But if we're talking about him,
Right.
he says because the quarterback is so important
He
that
should
if
be
you
up
think
there.
somebody is the second best quarterback
yeah,
in
then
the
that
NFL,
carries weight. Like Justin Jefferson is probably a top 5 player in the NFL, just to use an example. But then there is the argument of a quarterback's job is harder. He carries more weight. So you're right. Like Jimmy Butler is a good comparison. For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And so what? I guess what is your response to
So
that?
my response is that I'm not really 100% sure what I'm responding to, but what I would say is I have Jalen second because of a combination of resume and like skill, right? I agree with you off skill. He's probably 5th, 6th, like in that discussion. And then he is. I mean, I truly think we underrate Jalen's skill a little bit because it becomes so much, and I do it, about his resume. But Jalen is an extremely talented player. Like
I think he's talented for sure.
Yeah.
But what? So final thing on Jalen, then we'll get to the other stuff. I promise.
It's fine.
Is the list came out from the it's scouts and coaches and blah blah blah, and they had him ninth. And the NFL 100 is coming out right now, and we're up to 49. We haven't seen Jalen. By the way, it's possible he's not even on the list.
I don't think he'll be on the list.
So if the coaches and scouts tell you ninth, and the players tell you not even as good as Dak or Tua or all the that must count for something.
It does.
Okay.
I think it just doesn't change my opinion, but it definitely counts for something. The Players' Top 100 list is my favorite list that's put out every year. I think people severely underestimate it. Everyone goes, oh, they're just the players, but they're the ones that actually scout and go against these. I think it's I think it's the best list. Now, I know some players don't take it seriously, which diminishes it a little bit.
I'm sure a lot don't.
But I've been in the locker room and seen players fill it out, and they talk.
But my only point is that you can go up and down this list, even just through the first 50 guys that they've named, and there are plenty discrepancies there.
Yeah, there's I think there's discrepancies.
I'm just saying, so it's not like players have the absolute answer.
No, I don't think they have the absolute answer. Yeah. It's just my favorite list of the lists that come out. Now, but I think the ESPN
I'm just saying they aren't necessarily always the most qualified.
Right.
Because sometimes they're just they may not have gotten a chance to play against a certain player.
So they don't even know.
Yeah, they don't even know they didn't play that player that year.
Now the ESPN list where Jalen's ninth, I have him higher, but I do agree that if there was a draft of players in the NFL, I do not believe Jalen would be one of the top 5 quarterbacks taken.
No.
So when he comes in ninth, now I would put him ahead of Goff, and I would put him ahead of Stafford, is where I would definitely disagree with that list. But again, Herbert, I think almost every team would take Herbert over Jalen.
Here's the problem. They would.
Yeah. Right.
But here's the problem. We aren't judging him just on talent. So, if they all came out in a draft, you didn't know what team they were on, they don't have an NFL resume, then sure, his measurables may not be as good as theirs. Joe Montana's wasn't either. That's why he was a 3rd-round pick. Neither was Tom Brady's, which is why he was a 6th-round pick. But when you get to the league and you actually start playing, it's bigger than just your physical talents then. The resume has to count.
100%.
Your winning has to count.
I agree.
And I think when a lot of us that debate this, not even just us, but nationally, it gets convoluted because we're looking at talent and we're saying, okay, which one should weigh more? Which one should carry more weight? Should it be what he's leading his team to every year? Or is it how much of the weight he carries on his team?
Well, now, it is fair to say, though, I think probably Herbert aside, most of the quarterbacks in the top 10 win a lot of football games. Mm-hmm. In those lists. Now they haven't won Super Bowls.
Regular season games.
Yes.
Like Jared Goff is not a postseason performer. Some guys aren't postseason performers.
I agree.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Great in the regular season.
Yep.
We all can look at Lamar and be like, he has more skill than Jalen.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, it hasn't translated to winning in the postseason. And don't give me Patrick Mahomes because Jalen has played against Patrick Mahomes.
No, I agree with that. But there was a tweet that was put out this week I thought was interesting, that if you look at the top 3 teams in winning one-score games, I think it was Kansas City, Philly, and the Steelers in some order. Mm-hmm. And the Ravens were really far down the list in winning one-score games. And the Ravens have a great defense. The Ravens have a great head coach. So I'm not pinning that directly on Lamar, but with Lamar for all the talent, I think the thing about him not winning is real. The playoff thing,
close games,
exactly.
Yes,
so
because the other guys that we're talking about in that top 5-ish, Josh Allen's played well in the playoffs.
For sure.
Yes.
And by the way,
Joe Burrow's played well in the playoffs.
Josh Allen was not the end all be all, but he was rated higher as a skilled player in Madden than Mahomes was, which I thought was interesting.
Back to my top 100, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Who was voted as the most overrated player
by
his peers.
By his peers.
By his peers.
Yep.
I think there's some hating going on there.
Yeah.
That's some. But yes, no, you're right. You're right.
These players
but every
sometimes.
list has bias.
Yep. All right. 215-592-9494.
I think vote Josh Allen the most overrated player.
Well, certainly it came at a great time for him. I mean, the year before he won the MVP.
They must listen to OG's Knowledge Without College.
Yes, listen to the wrong show.